Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, man, shout out to all the leakers out there. Shout out to all the common sense people left inside of all of these insane companies that have completely and totally taken over by the activist cult out there, because you guys give us some of the best internal messages out there. You guys give us some of the best inside information, and boys and girls, it is a beautiful thing to see, because the best part is you give us the ability to see over the hill. We don't have to wait for things to come out. We know already exactly what kind of disastrous dumpster fire all of this kind of nonsense is. So guess what? We don't even have to worry about spending any money on what might potentially be a good game when you guys let us all know exactly the way the people inside of these corporations think and view of all of us. And boys and girls, that is a beautiful thing to see, because we want these people exposed. We want these people shamed. We want to know that this stuff is exactly what they intend, what they think of all of us out there. And guess what? They're all finding out that yes, at the end of the day, the gamers out there, all of these evil chuds out there, we do make up the majority of the audience out there, and we decide what succeeds and what fails. And guess what? Obsidian, your new Avowed game, yes, Microsoft, after hiring all your diversity, inclusion, and equity hires out there, is going to turn into a disastrous dumpster fire. And they've got more leaked inside information further confirming that. And yes, boys and girls, that's exactly what we like to see. Because as you can see over here from thatparkplace.com, and our dear sweet Montenero, leaked Obsidian Slack messages exposes toxic environment and Avowed developer. Oh, color us shocked there, boys and girls. So we're going to check out this article. We're going to get all of the juicy details and see exactly what they've seen and see exactly how much fun they're having over there of Obsidian out there owning the chuds. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Were you actually curious about Avowed and whether or not it was actually going to be a good game? Does it surprise you at all that all of these insane people inside of Microsoft's Obsidian out there are completely and totally activists for the cult, and that's all they want to use this game for, is to push their message? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support this channel, please check out the links in the description as well. So from that Park Place and our dear sweet Montenero, and of course, shout out to Smash JT, who I believe might actually follow me on Twitter out there now, as Smash JT and all of his wonderful insiders and all of his wonderful leaks between him and Eddie Mon. We are literally seeing over the hill on every single one of these games, so we can call this garbage out for exactly what it is, garbage. So shout out to JT Smash. And if for some reason you're subscribed to my channel and not his, what are you doing? After this video is over, go check his stuff out. It's good quality stuff. Another insight from Avowed developer Obsidian has come forward to YouTube content creator Smash JT, this time sharing leaked messages from the Obsidian Slack's internal message server. The message shows that Obsidian staff celebrating their game coming under fire from ex-owner and world's richest man, Elon Musk, while rallying against anyone who opposes the idea of pronoun selection in video games. And of course, this behavior was egged on by Avowed art director Matt Hansen, who made waves recently by accidentally exposing that he engages in potentially illegal hiring practices within the Microsoft-owned studio. And yeah, by the way, if you don't remember that, that was literally him going out there and going, well, if there's any black people, if there's any POCs or somebody from a minority community out there that wants a job, please come talk to me, because I want to hire you over anyone else. I want white people like me to be replaced in the video game industry. Well, why don't you just leave, homeboy? But oh, of course not. It's not actually about that. No, it's all just virtue signaling that wants to own the chuds out there. And as we can see, it's a toxic work environment all the way around, boys and girls. So, of course, you've got one of your first messages right here. As you can see from the screenshot, we've done it, with a screenshot, of course, Elon Musk out there. So we've done it, an employee named Shawa Alvarez said, while sharing a screenshot of Musk's rebuke of the fantasy game that included pronoun sections. He then said that the management should let him know if this is too political, and voiced a willingness to delete the message if not allowed. At most companies, sharing something so deeply divisive and politically would be indeed frowned upon. But this is Obsidian, and it's overseen by Matt Hansen, a veteran art director with a long reported history of fostering a toxic work environment ruled by ideology above all else. And like we said in the time before, this is the reason why these games come out as a broken and buggy mess, and the stories are just boring and bland, because that's all they concentrate on. All they concentrate on is their ideology, and they will sacrifice absolutely everything else on their altar to the cult. That's obvious by how comfortable all the members of Hansen's team were voicing their glee at this development. "I've never been more proud," said Daniel Chamberlain, who indicated that he uses he, him pronouns. Oh, color of shock there. Pronouns, pronouns, pronouns. Another Obsidian employee, Jay Turner, brought out the conversation to former World of Warcraft lead Mark Kern, aka Grums. "Hey everyone, pack it up. We lost Grums. 8 people in the organization reacted to this comment. Oh, boys and girls, if you only understood how much of the population's Grum's opinions actually represent, well, if you don't believe me, ask Concord. So, this was literally my suggestion bug to add pronouns to the menu. Mendelo Rosenberg, who apparently prefers he, him, his pronouns, said before adding, I do this. Oh, yes, it was just done to own the chuds, not because you actually want representation. No, no, no. You just want to piss off a certain part of the actual audience out there that buys your games. I cannot wait to report on how much of a disastrous dumpster fire Avowed is, because guess what? We know what happens. These studios will be closed, and all of these people out there that had a real grand time owning the chuds, oh, you're all going to be out of a job, and I cannot wait to see it. It could not have happened to a nicer group of assholes. Olivia Burkhart, who apparently prefers she, her pronouns, set it off with a meme that claimed triggering conservative snowflakes. It's so hot right now, as you can see right here for the prickage. Oh, is it? Oh, is it? Explain the billions of dollars you have lost out there triggering conservatives. And actually, you've just been triggering gamers by giving them a really crappy quality product. Boy, I wonder how that's going to work out for them. Right about now is typically when a manager of the company owned by one of the biggest tech organizations on the planet would step in, i.e. Microsoft. We see you. Yes, this is all your fault. You hired these psychopaths to stop the political parade and tell the team to make better use of the time in which they're being paid to provide a service. But because this is Matt Henson, none of that happens. Instead, he joins in. So yes, boys and girls, they're doing this on company time. They are getting paid to laugh and ridicule the majority of Western civilization out there. Boy, I wonder why Twitter was able to get rid of 90% of its staff and still work just fine. I couldn't possibly think of a reason, huh? This rules, Hansen said, while apparently wanting everyone to know that he uses he, him pronouns. I am fully giddy over it. GG, presumably good going. Everybody. I mean, not good game, everybody. I don't know. I don't get it. But yes, obviously the guy came in here and completely and totally decided to encourage all of this kind of stuff. Another employee, Brisel, a she, they pronoun user. Oh, don't you love the ones with mental disorders? Responded with an inappropriate profanity in the workplace chat. Mind you, this is a workplace chat. Now, let me know, would you get away with cussing in an email where you were talking to your boss or any of the rest of the employees out there that could be viewed by management? How well would that go over at your job? Nah, me thinks not so much. But of course, it's perfectly okay over there at Microsoft's Obsidian. They said, stupid will be stupid, but I'll never get over how insane of a hill of pronouns are to die on. Like, if you pretend it's not a fucking backbone of language / grammar, and then argue what? You should be able to choose what the fuck people call you in a role-playing game? Well, boys and girls, it's not just the pronouns issue. It's that it's normally a giant red flag that shows that the only thing you're going to care about is diversity, inclusion, and equity, and not actually giving us a good quality game. Don't believe me? Go look at the broken and buggy mess that's Star Wars Outlaws, boys and girls. It is the prime example of all of that kind of stuff out there. So, of course, Hansen continues to encourage all this. He is not a bright man. Oh, really? Referring to Grums. Well, we'll see who gets the last laugh when your Avowed game comes out and turns into a disastrous dumpster fire that we all get to report on, laugh and ridicule out for you and go, hey, guess what? We told you so. Right around this time, Hansen would take to his Blue Sky, of course he's got a Blue Sky account to relate this publicly while maligning Musk with more profanity. And as you can see here, you've got all of his wonderful little tweets. He goes, I wanted so badly to make him mad with my game, and I cannot believe it actually happened. Just wait until you see the default, you said, sick little shit. Yeah, because instead of actually saying sick, as Grums points out right here, he said, just wait until you see the default, you sad little shit. Sick typo for sad. Is that what we're kind of assuming here? But once again, in all of his glee of owning all of us people that actually buy these games and actually make these people money, well, of course, in all of his glee, he couldn't even be bothered to spell check. Boy, I wonder if he'd bothered to spell check or double check anything in this game. Oh, I can't wait to see how it comes out. It's honestly deeply surreal to have the world's richest shit boy be whine about something I'm making. I'm quite frankly giddy. I cannot think of a single person in the world I would rather irritate. Oh, yes. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, do we need to go over the history of every single example of why this is going to blow up in his face and turn into a disastrous dumpster fire? Sure, why not? Before we give our little outro, let's talk about Star Wars Outlaws. Let's talk about Concord. Let's talk about Dustborn. Let's talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard. Yes, all of those games were beat by Farming Simulator 25, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? It's going to be the exact same thing with Avowed. Why? Because this is what happens when you have a bunch of activist psychopaths, a bunch of mentally deranged activists for the cult, people possessed by the spirit of the age. All that will matter to them is their agenda and owning all of you while getting paid to talk trash on the majority of Western civilization out there. Yes, this is how it's going to end up being. This thing is going to flop like a disastrous dumpster fire, just like all the rest have. And guess what, Microsoft? Guess what, Obsidian? You did this to yourself. You hired all of these little activist psychopaths out there because you were either down with the cult, completely and totally possessed by the spirit of the age, just like them, or you were conned into believing this nonsense was going to be the new hot thing by either your HR department or your marketing department. Well, guess what? Anybody that told you hiring a bunch of activists out there to push your video games out there and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on something that is going to turn into a disastrous dumpster fire of a flop like Microsoft's and Obsidian's Avowed will, well, guess what? All of those people should be fired. And as we've seen in the video game industry over the last couple of years, every time one of these games comes out there and flops, guess what? All of these people lose their jobs, their studio gets up and closed down, and they're all forced into the unemployment round. Don't believe me? Look what's happened over there with Ubisoft. They have closed they have closed at least 2 studios, and they have drastically reduced others all around the world. And guess what? The majority of those people no longer employed. Why? Because Ubisoft continued to put out flop after flop, whether it be Prince of Persia or Star Wars Outlaws or their upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows. Guess what? At the end of the day, 2 + 2 still equals 4. And at some point, you run out of other people's money. So enjoy the unemployment line, Obsidian, because at the end of the day, you did it to yourself, and it's exactly what you deserve. And shout out to all the leakers out there that will unfortunately probably lose their jobs too. We love you, and thank you for all of this wonderful information.